one day you're gonna be a dad, right?
Yeah.
Justin Jr. sitting on your lap. When they say, Dad, what was the best part about your teenage years? What would you say?
Best part of the teenage years.
Owning a Ferrari?
No, not that. Probably my relationship with my ex-girlfriend.
That's deep.
I think people forget in our situation, like, we had history with each other.
This is so crazy. I've literally never talked about this ever. I understand, again, how it looks from the outside, and there's a lot of perception there, but that was a situation where I know for a fact that it was the right thing for them to close that door. They were not in a relationship at that time.
Did Kendall Jenner just confirm Justin and Hailey Bieber's marriage is falling apart? Kendall Jenner may have just accidentally fueled the growing rumors that Justin and Hailey Bieber are heading for divorce. For fans who've been questioning why the couple seems so distant lately, especially right after the birth of their baby, Kendall might have unknowingly provided some real answers. She didn't post anything online or release an official statement, but her presence at a private, intimate event may have revealed more than she intended. Sources close to Kendall say she let just enough slip for people to start piecing things together. So, did Kendall really just confirm that Justin and Hailey are on the brink of a split? Let's break it all down.
Your husband was in a very public relationship. They were kids. People were obsessed with the idea of them. People were confused on the timeline you're talking about of, like, is she a homewrecker? So I guess my question is, Hailey, were you ever with Justin romantically at the same time as her?
No. Not one time.
As most of you already know, it's no secret that Justin and Hailey's marriage has been under the microscope for quite some time. Rumors of tension between them have never really gone away, but the latest wave of speculation was sparked by a recent video that caught Justin visibly upset with paparazzi who were simply trying to film him while he grabbed a cup of coffee. Now, we all know Hollywood hasn't been kind to Justin. Fame took its toll on him from a young age, and he's been very open about how damaging life in the spotlight has been. But this particular incident hit differently. Fans weren't just worried about Justin's emotional state. They began to question what might really be going on behind closed doors. If he's this triggered in public, how intense are things at home? And more importantly, what is Hailey going through?
Money, 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 money. Money, get out of here, bro. Money. That's all you want. You don't care about people. All you want is money. Go. Get out of here. All you guys want is money.
So after that incident, Kendall, who for context is close friends with both Justin and Hailey, allegedly weighed in on the situation. And because of her close ties to the couple, people took her words seriously. The moment she spoke up, even casually, the internet began to speculate that she knew more than she was letting on. Word is that Kendall may have shared more than she intended to about her friend's relationship. Apparently, during a private event with close friends, she hinted that the divorce is not just real. It's been long overdue. You know, those small, intimate gatherings where people let their guard down after a few shots. Sources say that it was in a setting like that where Kendall revealed what many have suspected for a while. And what made the claim feel even more credible to fans was how closely it aligned with the clear shift that they've been noticing in Justin and Hailey's public behavior. Some of the signs people had already been picking up on are, for starters, Justin and Hailey have drastically reduced their public appearances together. At first, most fans assumed it was due to Hailey's pregnancy, and it made sense that she would be staying indoors more, focusing on her health and getting the rest that she needed. But even after the baby arrived, their time in public as a couple didn't increase. In fact, it declined even more. And while people continued giving them the benefit of the doubt, assuming that new parenthood might be overwhelming the pattern, started becoming harder to ignore, things really shifted when fans noticed that not only were Justin and Hailey rarely seen together, but they also had started showing up at the same events separately, and even leaving separately. One moment that stood out happened as recently as March 2025. Justin was seen attending a church service alone, and most people assumed Hailey had stayed home. But a video later surfaced of her leaving the same venue through a completely different exit surrounded by her friends with no interaction with Justin at all. That moment really had people questioning, why would a married couple with a newborn at home go out of their way to avoid being seen together? Another thing that made fans invested was Justin's social media behavior. Back in February, he briefly unfollowed Hailey on Instagram and then quickly followed her back once people started talking and claimed that he had been hacked. He later took to IG and wrote, "Someone went to my IG and unfollowed. My wife is getting sus out here." Shortly after that, Hailey also unfollowed Justin and refollowed, and then came up with what many considered an explanation just as lame as Justin's. She wrote, "It's a glitch, didn't unfollow him. Hope this helps." At the time, all these were dismissed as glitches or misunderstandings, but in the context of everything else, it started to feel like another piece of a much bigger puzzle. Even so, what really hit hard has been the shift in how they refer to each other. In the past, their posts were filled with affectionate nicknames, tags, comments, and open displays of love. But lately, it's been completely silent. The most jarring moment came when Hailey, during an interview, apparently referred to Justin as my child's father instead of my husband, or simply just Justin. And that wording caught people off guard, not just because it felt distant, but because it was such a sharp contrast from the way that she used to speak about him. What's even crazier is that she was discussing their future, plans. It's subtle, but it is the kind of shift that suggests something deeper is going on. And for a lot of people watching, it was a sign that things may be way past the point of saving. We could go on and on and on, mentioning the whole trail of red flags Justin and Hailey have displayed in. Over the course of Justin and Hailey's relationship, and especially their marriage, there's been no shortage of red flags. Even if you haven't been following closely, it's hard to ignore the trail of issues that's led them to this breaking point. And now, Kendall Jenner may have just confirmed what many have suspected all along. Justin and Hailey's marriage is hanging on by a thread. Let's not forget that moment when Hailey's own father, Stephen Baldwin, took to Instagram with a cryptic yet deeply alarming plea. He wrote, "Christians, when you think of Justin and Hailey, take a moment to offer a little prayer for them, to have wisdom, protection, and to draw close to the Lord." That wasn't just a spiritual check-in. That was a silent scream for help, wrapped in religious language. And now, it all makes sense. So what did Kendall actually say? According to insiders who were present at a small private gathering, Kendall didn't just vaguely suggest there was trouble, she laid it out in devastating detail. Sources say Kendall revealed that Justin has been in a very dark place for over a year now. And Hailey? She's been barely holding it together. Between managing Justin's ongoing mental health battles and caring for a toddler, she's reportedly reached her breaking point. And honestly, the timeline adds up. The internet has been asking for months. Why does Justin Bieber always look so sad? We've seen photo after photo of him looking completely disconnected, like a shadow of his former self. There were weeks where he seemed haunted, like a dark cloud was constantly hanging over him. Then came the crying selfies on Instagram. The whispers that he had cut off his inner circle, including family, close friends, and even people from Hailey's side. One source revealed, Justin Bieber has changed a lot. He's more guarded, more isolated. He barely uses bodyguards or drivers anymore. He prefers to drive himself and Hailey around. He's shutting people out. But the most heartbreaking part, from what Kendall allegedly shared, Justin only seems genuinely happy when he's likely under the influence. Oh, recent example was that road event where he appeared totally out of it, swaying on his feet, smiling blankly, barely able to focus. Fans who were there described it as disturbing, like watching someone smile through the pain. Now, according to these insiders, Kendall's confession only confirms our worst fears. Justin's mental state is spiraling, and Hailey's patience has finally run out. She's emotionally and physically drained. That tense moment with the paparazzi? Apparently, that was just the surface. Kendall reportedly claimed that Justin's private meltdowns are on a whole different level. Volatile, erratic, and often overwhelming. To be fair, Justin has always been open about his struggles with depression and anxiety. But this, according to those close to the situation, it's far worse behind the scenes. Dangerously worse. Now, according to Kendall, one of the biggest weights dragging Justin and Hailey's marriage down, aside from the emotional distance and obvious public tension, is something that's been haunting their relationship from the very beginning. the never-ending comparisons to Selena Gomez. And honestly, the fact that we're still talking about this in 2025 is wild. It's been years, and yet Hailey still can't post a single selfie without someone dragging Selena's name into the comments. That kind of constant pressure, it's exhausting. And Kendall reportedly confirmed that this relentless cycle of comparison has done serious damage, not just to Hailey's self-esteem, but to the very foundation of her marriage. According to sources close to Kendall, Hailey now feels like she has to calculate every single move she makes in public. Every outfit, every caption, every blink is instantly twisted into a Selena versus Hailey narrative. And it doesn't stop. Just recently, Selena's engagement became yet another opportunity for people to compare her ring to Hailey's. After nearly 6 years of marriage, that kind of noise is bound to take a toll on anyone. I mean, how do you stay sane when your own husband's comment section is still flooded with "should have been Selena"? But here's where things get even heavier. According to what Kendall allegedly shared, the fans may not even be Hailey's biggest problem. The real wound, the one that truly cut deep, is this. Justin has never fully let go of Selena. Yeah, that reportedly came straight from Kendall's own mouth. And the thing is, Kendall isn't just some casual friend. She's deeply embedded in both of their lives. She sees everything up close, so when she says something, it holds weight. And if that bombshell wasn't messy enough, let's not forget how Justin himself has fueled the fire. There was that one moment, a now infamous interview, where Justin was already married to Hailey, yet told the world that the best memory of his teenage years was his relationship with Selena. Imagine being Hailey, at home, married, building a life with him, only to hear your husband publicly say something like that. If disrespect had a face, it was Justin's in that moment.
Got married, I hit a little bit of an emotional breakdown because I thought marriage was going to fix all my problems. Wow. And it didn't. It just kind of was a reflection of like, man, you're a bit of a hypocrite, man. Like you want your wife to do something that you're not doing. And it's like, I mean, it's hard sometimes to look in the mirror and really have to, as man, maybe you're not the person that you necessarily thought that you were.
Now, you'd think that with all the issues piling up, emotional distance, public pressure, unresolved pasts, Justin and Hailey might have turned to something like therapy, open communication, maybe even taking time apart to heal. But apparently, they chose a very different path. According to what Kendall allegedly revealed, instead of facing their problems head-on, they decided to have a baby. Yeah, things were already falling apart. They were, by some accounts, on the verge of splitting. But they thought bringing a child into the mix might save the relationship, that it would pull them closer, give their marriage new purpose, act as some kind of emotional glue. But instead of healing them, it seems to have only deepened the cracks. The pressure of parenthood has reportedly added even more strain. And now, insiders say that what was meant to be a fresh start has become more of a distraction than a solution, like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. It might look okay on the surface, but underneath, it's still bleeding. Even anonymous blind items, normally unreliable, have been whispering about this behind-the-scenes chaos for months, and disturbingly, a lot of the pieces are starting to fit. One of the more shocking claims? That shortly after their honeymoon, Justin allegedly drove to Selena's house. If that's even remotely true, then this marriage was clearly doomed from the start. Because if your heart is still stuck in another zip code, why are you even signing wedding papers?
What was the best part about your teenage years? What would you say?
Best part of the teenage years. Owning a Ferrari. No, not that. Probably my relationship with my ex-girlfriend.
That's deep.
And y'all, we cannot talk about this situation without digging into the family drama and Kendall Jenner's very messy position in the middle of it all. Let's start with Hailey's dad, Stephen Baldwin. His involvement has raised eyebrows for years. Whether intentional or not, a lot of people believe he pushed Hailey into marrying Justin, and that's a narrative he may never shake. It's one of those things that quietly lingers in the background, but according to insiders, it's weighed heavily on Hailey and only added more pressure to her already fragile marriage. Rumors go all the way back to 2018. People were already whispering that this marriage wasn't about love. It was a business move. The word on the street has always been that the Baldwins saw Justin as a cash cow, and Steven, in particular, was chasing pop culture clout through his daughter's relationship. If there's any truth to that, it shifts the entire lens on this marriage and makes it feel more like a contract than a love story. On top of that, let's not forget how young Hailey was when all of this happened. She was just 22, stepping into a marriage with one of the most emotionally complex celebrities in the world. While most people her age were still figuring themselves out, Hailey was suddenly dealing with global headlines, brutal public scrutiny, and a husband who reportedly wasn't over his ex. And if Kendall really just confirmed that Justin still hasn't let go of Selena, then those early predictions, they weren't just gossip. They were warnings. Warnings we all ignored. Now here's where it gets really messy. Kendall isn't just some bystander in all this. She's been close to both Hailey and Justin for years. Her and Hailey, besties, matching outfits, vacations, fashion week, you name it. But here's the plot twist. Kendall also has history with Justin. Allegedly, dating history. Yep. Long before Justin married Hailey, rumors swirled that he had a thing with Kendall. In fact, there was even talk that Justin was being passed around the Kardashian Jenner sisters when he was at the peak of his fame. Neither Kendall nor Justin have ever confirmed or denied those claims. But we all know they were very much in each other's lives. And let's not forget, the streets still remember how much Selena Gomez couldn't stand Kendall. That tension, it wasn't imagined. All of that makes Kendall's role in this drama way more complicated than it seems. Want proof? Let's rewind to 2020. There was that Instagram Live moment with Justin, Hailey, and Kendall. Justin casually asked Kendall if she had ever seen their marriage coming. And Kendall straight up said, honestly, no. The way Hailey's face dropped. She clearly wasn't expecting that answer, and the vibe shifted instantly. That moment said a lot, and it made one thing painfully clear. Things have never been as smooth as they looked on the surface.
Look at us two. We're like we're a happy married family.
I love it.
Would you have real quick question, did you see this coming?
See what coming? You too? Honestly, no. It was super I didn't know. I think I hoped.
Even here in 2025, Kendall and Hailey are still out and about, grabbing dinner in West Hollywood, posting those picture-perfect sisterly selfies. But if the rumors are true, Kendall's private thoughts about Hailey's marriage paint a very different picture than what she shows the world. And maybe that's the whole point. Because in Hollywood, loyalty and image don't always walk hand in hand. Sometimes being in the inner circle means knowing way too much and spilling just enough to stir the pot. That's exactly what makes Kendall's role so fascinating. She's not just a bystander, she's deep in it. She's seen everything up close. She's Justin's ex, allegedly. She's Hailey's best friend, and she's the girl who couldn't even fake surprise when asked if she saw their marriage coming. Now, while Hailey's marriage seems to be buckling under the pressure, Kendall's out here playing the part of the polished, neutral bestie. But is she really neutral, or is she low-key fanning the flames? Because if Kendall really went this deep spilling tea about her bestie's crumbling marriage, then let's be real. Hailey doesn't need enemies if she has friends like that. This triangle runs deep, and the lines between loyalty, history, and performance are blurring fast. So now I have to ask, what do you think is really going on behind the scenes? Is Kendall just being a loyal bestie caught in the middle? Or is she hiding way more than she lets on? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this drama is far from over, and I know y'all have opinions. And just a reminder, Kendall hasn't gone public with any of these claims, but multiple people close to her apparently have. Hailey, Justin and Kendall have stayed completely silent. Still, what's wild is how these reports line up perfectly with what we've all been seeing with our own eyes. So no, this doesn't feel like just hearsay anymore. This is looking real, messy, real painful, and real close to the edge. Thanks for watching, loves, and I'll see you in the next one.